Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to LIRA in Law. Thank you very much for joining me for our usual Thursday evening get-together from 7:30 onwards. And as usual, I am broadcasting live from London, England. Ang pangalan ko po, Lira Simong Kabatbat of Douglas Simon Solicitors. Bugado po ako dito. I am a solicitor of, 34 years. Actually, because I think maybe it's a subconscious issue, no? I always have problems remembering how long I've been qualified. I think it's my unconscious or subconscious reaction to the fact that I've been doing this a long time, and so I don't really want to admit it. Maybe subconsciously, even to myself. So 34 years post-qualification experience. So that does not include, obviously, my training, my studies. In law, which if you add, so that's 6 years on top, I will have been, I've been doing this. That is, I've been involved in law for 40 years. I know, 40 years. 40 years, 4 decades. So I hope that I'm able to point you in the right direction where you have a legal problem, especially kung immigration ang problema natin. Of course, happy to discuss it. Kung meron kayong mga tanong, it's not too late still. You can still message me nga. But at the moment, we're going to have we have lots of questions, no? But I hope that you'll be able to join me throughout. And of course, sharing is caring. So if you have family, friends nga, or just anyone you know that you think, oh yeah, actually itong topic na ito or other topics, is something that may help someone else, ipasa nyo yung link namin. And hopefully it helps them a little bit. But nothing beats, absolutely nothing beats independent one-to-one advice, because all facts, all cases differ. Even if the smallest thing, sometimes the smallest thing makes a massive difference. You'll be surprised. So it's definitely worthwhile investing in at least seeing someone. Kung nalilito kayo, or you think you know the answer, or indeed kahit may abogado kayo, but you want, say, a second opinion, absolutely seek independent legal advice. Okay. Now, where to start? Ang dami nating mga questions ngayon, ranging really from visit visas, always a popular topic, to children, which is actually our star question and topic nga ngayon, children born in the United Kingdom, to what to do to maximize your chance of success coming into the United Kingdom. So all sorts of things. And of course, we're going to try and deal with all of those and unpack them. And thank you very much to all the viewers who have very kindly posted their questions. And as I say, kung meron kayong mga questions, post it. You still post it now. I'll see if I can get around to dealing with it. If not, of course, next week. So if you have questions, post it to us by, say, Wednesday, and we'll obviously try and deal with it the following day, the Thursday, for our Thursday get together. So it's nice to see you. I hope you feel the same. I tell you what, let me just warn you, kung meron kayo naririnig kind of buzzing, that is my fan. Okay, which is in front of my desk at the moment. And if you're seeing my hair go all over the place, a bit like, one of those films with the hair flicking, that's also the fan. Okay, the fan was slightly further away earlier, but it's so warm today in London. It is, I think a couple of days ago, was the warmest day in May forever, so it's been really, really warm. I'm not complaining. It's nice to enjoy good weather, and of course, kung nasa Pilipinas nga kayo, it's warmer there, absolutely. But it's nevertheless not something we generally enjoy too much of dito. So it gets a little bit of getting used to. But anyway, so we have very warm, very, very warm, sunny days since last weekend, last weekend. So if you, as I say, if you see, I mean, I'm going like this because I'm trying to move my hair away from my face because you feel the wind, the air is kind of flicking it over. So bear with me. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Oh, I haven't told you what our topic is. My apologies. It's the heat. No, it's addling my brain. Let me read to you our question. No, galing po to sa viewer natin, in fact, from last week. Ang tanong niya ito, Hi, Attorney Lira. I'm already indefinite leave to remain since last November. No? So meron na siyang ILR, no? Indefinite leave to remain since last November. I'm planning to apply for British citizenship next year. But unfortunately, I will start my maternity leave this June. Oh, congratulations. Will this affect my application? First question, yeah. No? And lastly, both me and my husband are ILR, so pareho na silang indefinite leave to remain. Will our child become British? Thank you and God bless. God bless. No? Salamat po for this question. It's a great question. So yun ang topic, ang question nga, is star question natin. So topic po natin nga ngayon is, when is a child born in the United Kingdom automatically British? I know this concerns a lot of you. Okay? Kung meron kayong mga kamag-anak kasi sa mga kaibigan nga who you think may be affected by this, then nalilito sila, yung anak nga nila, yung British na ba, dito pinanganak. Definitely send them this link because I'm going to go through the circumstances, most of the circumstances that would, that essentially say, born in the UK, yung anak nyo, then they are automatically British. So it's a very interesting topic. But as I say, hindi nga lang yung topic natin nga ngayon. There are a few more things, there are a few more questions that we're going to deal with. Anyway, having said that, we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back, launch into our topic. All right? Saglit nga lang po. See you soon. Welcome back po to LIRA in Law. Thank you very much for joining me for our usual Thursday get-together. Live, of course, from London, England. Ang pangalan ko po, Lira Simon Kapatbat of Douglas Simon Solicitors. Now, without further ado, let us deal with our question. So, just to remind you, ang viewer natin, tanong nga niya, indefinite leave to remain na siya, no? Since last November. Now, she's going to give birth. And she's going to be on maternity in June. No? So next month na, maternity na siya. Will that affect her application for naturalization, for citizenship, British citizenship in due course? No? That's, sabi niya, she can't apply for ILR until next year. So she obviously is waiting for the 1 year. So titingnan nga natin yun, the process. And then secondly, because she's indefinite leave to remain now, at saka yung asawa niya, pareho silang indefinite leave to remain. So, ILR nga. Anong mangyayari? Anong status ng anak nga nila? Great question. And it's something, this scenario is actually something that affects an awful lot of people, no? Especially kung matagal na nga kayo dito kayong nanganak nga. So it is a very common scenario. So tingnan nga natin. So first question nga niya, British citizenship, no? So indefinite leave to remain na siya. Plano nga nila, magpapasok siya ng application for British citizenship. And sabi niya, she can't do that until next year. In the meantime, she'll be on maternity when she applies for citizenship. Now, just to remind you, to get indefinite leave to remain, of course, you need to satisfy the relevant conditions nga. So, for example, if you're here on employment, it can be at least that 5 years continuous employment. I know that's changing, okay, or has changed for some already. But let's say 5 years nga dito, or even 10 years. But in due course, you get indefinite leave to remain. Kung yung status nyo, and then you want to later on apply for naturalization to get British citizenship, and therefore to get a British passport, no, then you need usually, not always, especially if yung kung asawa nyo ay Brito na nga, but usually you need to wait 12 months, so nga 1 year from the date that you got your indefinite leave to remain before you can apply for naturalization to get British citizenship. And then alam nyo din, after that, you then need to do your oath taking, and then after that, you normally get interviewed very briefly, hopefully, before you can get your first British passport. So siya, kung indefinite na siya November, then ibig sabihin, by November 2026, no, this year, pwede siya magpasok ng application for naturalization. That is when, so you don't automatically get British citizenship. Kailangan nyo munang yung prosesong tawag nga naturalization application. And that when that's successful, you do your oath taking, you know, you swear your allegiance to the king and all of that. And then after that, and only after that, then you are then British at that point. Kahit wala pa kayong passport. Okay? Because some people akala nila, oh, hindi pa sila British until they get the passport. That's actually not true. You're actually British when you get when you become naturalized. And that happens when you've done your oath taking. Okay? So after that, when people ask you, or on forms, what's your citizenship, you put down you're British. And the British passport comes much later. Now, ang una niyang tanong, would the fact that she's going to be on maternity leave and presumably not working and is only in receipt of maternity pay, which is usually much lower than the income, would that affect her application for naturalization citizenship? No? The answer is no, it should not. Okay. So the fact that you will be on maternity, that should have absolutely no bearing to you making an application for naturalization, i.e. British citizenship. Kailangan yung pakita, it's good to be able to show you're able to support yourself in the UK. There's no minimum income requirement as such, but it goes towards character. Kailangan mo din pakita that you have not had major brushes with the law. No, actually, it doesn't have to be major, but brushes with the law by that. Criminal matter or even civil matter. Importante nga yun. Absences, of course, is one thing, but let's assume you tick all the boxes. No? It means that you can make an application for naturalization leading to British citizenship, regardless of the fact that you may be still at that time, you probably will be, if you're giving birth in June, by November, you're probably still on maternity. Regardless of that, you can still make an application and should still get your naturalization. Right? So yung unang question nga niya. Pangalawang question niya is, okay, manganganak siya, so she's on maternity from June, so the baby is probably due sometime in June, maybe July. Now, indefinite na siya, yung asawa niya indefinite din. Anong status ng bata? And this is such a common question I get. Okay, partly because when you look at it, you look on the internet for answers. It can get quite confusing, and so the internet is not really. Well, you have to be careful, no, when you're looking it up online, that you that sometimes nakakalito yung sinasabi nila, sometimes mali nga lang, no? Now, so I'm going to look at the 5 most common scenarios that lead to a child born in the UK to foreign parents, but with indefinite leave to remain or settled status in the UK. So when they become British, okay? So there are 5 most common scenarios. So if your child is born in the United Kingdom after the 31st of December 1982, and let's face it, most of you now watching are probably, if you're born here, that's probably the case, and your parents are not British or Irish, then you, that child, will still be British, despite the fact that your parents are not British or indeed Irish, and you're born in the UK, if at least one parent, it doesn't have to be both of you, hindi ikaw at yung asawa mo kailangan, but if either one of your parents, when you were born, had indefinite leave to remain, no? So good news, that's a quick answer to your question is your child will therefore be British because you both have indefinite leave to remain, or indeed, you have what's called right to readmission. I can have a look at that later on briefly. What's called right of abode. Again, we can look at that briefly. Permanent resident status. Okay, if you're born on or after the 30th of June 2021, that's to do really with EU, no, mainly, or your parents had settled status under the EU settlement scheme. So let's look at those 5 possibilities. No? Indefinite leave to remain, which is our viewers' status nga, normally means that you have to apply for it, the indefinite leave to remain. It's not automatic. No? So that you normally can prove by there's a stamp on the passport, although I would hope that you've now obtained an e-visa, a letter from the Home Office, but again, I hope you obtained an e-visa, a sticker, a vignette, they tawag nila, so sometimes it's green, no, the old-fashioned way, an expired biometric residence permit, if you still have one of those knocking about, or hopefully what your parent will have is an e-visa. So that's a digital record of their identity and immigration status. So most of you, I hope, will have an e-visa. Makikita nyo doon, indefinite leave to remain. Best way of proving it. So kung meron kayong indefinite leave to remain, yung bata nga, tapos pinanganak nga yung bata, in this case, then your child is British. Now, second possibility is you have, if your parent has what's called a right of abode. Now, your parent would have a right of abode automatically if they were a British national from, say, a Commonwealth country. No, they don't need to apply for it; it's automatic now. So if your parent has a right of abode, they will either have a UK passport describing them as a British citizen or a British subject with right of abode. But of course, you were born in the UK, right? The fact that they're that on its own, if you're not born in the UK, is not enough. A non-UK passport with a certificate of entitlement to the right of abode. I don't see many of those, but you can get them. Third possibility is you have what's called a right to readmission. Now, how best to explain that? So your parent would have a right to readmission automatically if they're from a Commonwealth country, okay? They don't also need to apply for it now. Your parent will have right to readmission. You should have a passport and metatak doon that entitled to readmission to the United Kingdom. I don't actually see too many of those nowadays. No? Or fourth possibility is that you have your parent, rather not you, because you're the child, your parent has what's called permanent resident status. Now, that's your parent will have permanent resident status automatically if both the following applied, right? By the 30th of June 2021. That's the magic date because of Brexit. So if at that time they were from the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, for example, they've lived in the UK for 5 years and were working, studying, self-sufficient, or looking for work here. All right. Now, your parent at that point did not need to even apply for permanent residence because they would have it. No? Permanent resident status stopped being valid on the 1st of July 2021. If you were born after this date, you will only be British automatically if your parent applied for settled status on or before the 30th of June 2021. I hope they have, if they're EU, and their application was approved, say, after you were born. No, so that this is really more. This is to do now with those mainly who were here a long while ago and were EU nationals. So they had PR, they had permanent residence, and then they swapped it over to settled status. Now, more recently, of course, there's this settled status scheme. I'm sure you know it, no? Under the EU settlement, no? Under the settled status under EU settlement scheme, I should say. So as you know, if you're EU, you could apply, or indeed EU dependents, you can make an application for settled status if you've satisfied the last 5 years living in the United Kingdom. So if your parent has permanent residency, for want of a better phrase, in one of those 5 ways, and you were born in the United Kingdom, just beware of the dates that I'd mentioned earlier, then you would be automatically British. So you don't need to fuss about registration, which is another possibility. Of course, if you're born in the UK, for example, and you're to your parents at the time, they did not have indefinite leave to remain, but later on they had indefinite leave to remain, then you can apply to become British by registration. That is not as cumbersome, in the way of process as, say, making up a full application. So it's registration. It's also a little bit cheaper. Actually, that's the only fee to the Home Office that went down rather than up. So it was a month ago, I think it was, when the change happened. It was 1,200, and it went down miraculously to £1,000. So not a bad thing, going back to our viewer, ang question nga niya, anong status ng anak niya? Indefinite siya, indefinite din yung asawa niya. We don't need both of them to be indefinite, indefinite leave to remain dito. One of them would do, but in any event, because the child was born in the UK to parent, in this case, parents with indefinite leave to remain, the child is therefore automatically British. So you don't need to fuss about registration. All you need really is his or her birth certificate, and then you can apply for their first passport. So good luck. I hope that you do apply for a first passport nga nila, and then I hope you're able to take a break. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did, and it's one of those topics that I do get asked a lot about, which is understandable. That there are people, of course, move on, and they settle in the UK. And one of the things that sometimes happens if you're blessed is you have children. We have lots more questions. So ang gagawin ko, I'm going to just because we have so many other questions now, I will go through the questions, but I think we may have I have a slight. This is the problem when you're live. You can tell we're live now, because little glitches happen, technical glitches happen. So at the moment, I have difficulty showing you the questions. So you have to bear with me. If you don't mind, I will read to you the questions, okay? Right? So second question po natin ito. Sasabi niya, hello po, okay? This miraculously appeared. There you go. Problem fixed. Yeah. Hello po. I'm a Filipino passport holder currently on a skilled worker visa in the UK. I'm divorced from my British citizen ex-spouse, and I would like to ask how long it usually takes to get a decision for petition for judicial recognition of foreign divorce in the Philippines. Would appreciate hearing your advice. Okay. The short answer, and I'll do both, there are differing scales. And actually, for you, I looked into this, and truly, I'm not surprised you asked the question, because they're just varying answers. It goes from 12 to 18 months. If it's not contested, it seems sometimes it can take as little as 6 months. I doubt that. I mean, I think that's probably on the optimistic viewpoint. But I think you probably need to allow 12 to 18 months, if not contested. I've also seen answers where they say, "Oh, it take 3 years." It could be. It's best to make inquiries with lawyers in the Philippines who specialize in this. But I'm not even sure that they can be very accurate with timing, because of course it depends on what your spouse does, any delays that's caused because of documents missing, or they're not happy about the way certain things are executed nga. But needless to say, it will take a while. No? Now, the long answer to this question is, okay, sabi mo dito, you're divorced from your British citizen ex-spouse. No? Now, you know, of course, that your divorce is valid in the UK. If it's applied for properly, it's valid in the UK. It's valid actually in most countries, but of course not in the Philippines. So if you're looking to remarry in the United Kingdom, rather than say the Philippines, then you can do that. But yeah, it's not. There's no easy answer to this question. Actually, I don't know if any of you have been watching. Also, there's a recent, as in last 2 weeks ago, hearing about this recognition of foreign divorce in the Philippines before the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Unfortunately, I have not actually finished watching it. I've saved it, but I will do, and I hope also to be able to get a bit more, glean a bit more information, about the difficulties with foreign divorces. But anyway, good luck. I know that litigation in any country, Philippines is no exception, of course, can be, shall we say, traumatic. No, actually, a client of mine described that to me. Described it that way to me today. Sabi nga niya, the idea of going actually to court is something she would find traumatic, and I think there's probably something to that. Good luck. Now, next question natin. Sabihin natin dito. Let me just see if I can flash that. Otherwise, I'll read it to you. So, hello po, sabi niya, no? Seeking guidance sana regarding UK visitor visa application. I'm planning to apply for a UK visa this October to visit my boyfriend in the UK this coming December. Now, let me just stop you there, or rather, let me stop myself there. If you're applying only in October with the view to coming in December, you will probably miss December. My advice is apply now rather than waiting until October, because between October and December, there's only 8 weeks. They're not going to, it's unlikely they're going to done that quickly. Apply now. So sabi niya, will visit my boyfriend in the UK this coming December. Malaki pa rin po kaya ang chance na ma-approve ang visa ko if my savings are around 180,000 pesos. So approximately 2,000 pounds, a little over. And kakalipat ko lang po ng work nitong June. Okay, so she's changing jobs, or has changed jobs, and will start nga in June. My boyfriend will shoulder my accommodation and transportation since he already has his own place and vehicle in the UK. In terms of strong ties in the Philippines, I still live with my family and financially support them, especially for my father's medications. My work is also based in Manila, and I regularly pay taxes and government-mandated contributions. However, I don't have any properties under my name yet. Well, I'm not surprised. You're paying for everything else. Now, so question nga niya really is the chances. Does she have a high chance nga of getting her visit visa application approved in order to be able to visit her boyfriend in the UK, probably in time for Christmas, no? Now, so unang-unang sabi ko nga, kung ako ikaw, I would start preparing the application now and submit it as soon as you can, because between June and December, okay, you're still looking at about 6 months, but you'll be surprised how slow they can be, especially because of the time of year nga, no? Summertime. So ang payo ko, start preparing it now. You should maybe submit August, no? I would even say the latest. So yun ang payo ko. Because if you only give them 8 weeks, I can't see that. I suppose it could be that they get it done faster, but it's probably unlikely. Now, but the question is not so much what are your chances of success? Because that's that's difficult to answer in chances of success. So it depends on an awful lot of things. Anong document papakita mo? What are your boyfriend's circumstances nga? What your circumstances I have a bit more idea about because you've told me nga. But there are circumstances that may make it better or less better, for want of a better phrase, the application. So the question is not so much, I would say, what are the chances of success, but rather what can you do to maximize your chance of success? I think that's probably a more helpful way of putting the question. So, anong kailangan? Tip ko, statements. I don't mean bank statements. I mean statement, parang mga affidavit, no? And from a statement from you, statement from your boyfriend. And you don't have to deal with exactly the same thing. In fact, I would say you don't deal with exactly the same thing because you have separate or different issues that really are pertinent to the statement. So sa'yo, you would likely or should deal with your circumstances. Lagay mo doon, explain mo. You are in full-time employment. It's permanent. Your income is this. From your income, you've been able to save up 180,000 pounds. I mean, you can also give them a brief breakdown of your costs. Your main cost is rent and money that you provide to support your family. Otherwise, everything else is saved. You're looking to visit your boyfriend who lives in the United Kingdom. If it's for Christmas, say so. No, for the Christmas period, you hope to be able to stay for 1 month, 2 months, because obviously you have work commitments, so you need to come back. Go back to the Philippines. Of course, in order to be able to continue, you want to visit your boyfriend in the UK because you want to also see whether how your relationship is going. Because sometimes yung mga tao, they come to the UK just to truly visit and to see, to gauge is this relationship gonna go further? Is the UK a place where I see my future, for example? So you can say that. You can say, yeah, you're not looking to stay, absolutely not. You're looking to see if maybe it's even a new relationship. You're looking to see where the relationship may go. But of course, you're going to come back, not least because you have family commitments, you have a job, and you would not wish to breach your immigration condition, because why would you? So if all goes well, nandito ka, you decide actually, you want to, in fact, stay in the United Kingdom, to live here. You can't make an application. This is actually one of the questions. The other questions, you can't simply swap your visa from a visit visa to a spouse visa. But of course, you will probably say you would not wish to compromise any future application. So but put it in a statement. It doesn't have to be anything long, and don't make it too long. But it needs to be to the point. It needs to be fairly clear in what you're saying. And if you're also, if your employer has said, okay, you can have a 1 month holiday or 2 months holiday, put forward them a letter, from your employer to say, yeah, she can go for a month and then she's coming back. So whatever you want to, if you're going to put forward, if you're going to make certain statements in support of your application, if you can back it up. Evidence is important. So letter nga from your employer, your bank statements or your passbook alam ko sa atin uso pa yung passbook, not so much here. Also your boyfriend mo should also prepare statements. Sa kanya, he will probably say, yeah, I'd like for my girlfriend to come to the United Kingdom because I only have, for example, he may only have, say, 2 weeks holiday, and anyway, I would like for her to see the UK where we're early on in our relationship. If that's indeed the case, we want to see if it's if we can take it further. So all of that, explain it. Sabihin nga din niya what's his situation. Let's see what's his job. Sabi mo dito meron siyang tinitirhan nga. Ewan ko kung sa kanyang bahay or if it's rental. Prove that also. It's for you to show that your intention is genuine. No? Importante po yun. If you don't, then they will likely refuse it on the basis that they don't think you're going to leave the UK again. So it's for you to show that. Now, look, people do get visit visas, so it's not impossible, but it's not also something they would give to you if they think you may breach it. You know? So yun ang payo ko. Good luck. Right? I hope you can, because December in December in the UK, December especially in London, no, is great fun. A bit cold. I should not complain about the heat now, but because then I'm not complaining about the weather. Now, next question po natin, sabi niya dito. Seeking guidance for my friend's situation, sabi niya, no? She's currently in the UK. It's a great follow-up question, on a tourist visa sponsored by her husband. However, she recently discovered that her visa is only valid for 6 months instead of 2 years. And it's set to expire in the first week of June. Her husband is considering having her to travel to another country and then return to the UK, as they were told that extending or switching from a tourist visa may not be possible. We would just like to ask if there's any way for her to switch to a spouse visa while she's still in the UK. Thanks so much. Okay. Now, just a bit of background, no? So she says here, she recently discovered it's only valid for 6 months instead of 2 years. I suspect, and this is very much a guess because she doesn't actually say, that she applied for a visit visa. Ang binigay sa kanya, total 2 years visit visa. And it was probably confusing because they probably thought, oh, 2 years ang visa niya, she can stay in the UK for 2 years. But the visa, although 2 years, multiple visa, ibig sabihin yon, pwede niyong gamitin, labas-pasok, no? In that period of time, the 2 years, but only 6 months stay in the UK, right? So one plan is that husband's considering having her to travel to another country and then return to the UK. So I suppose the idea being it's a multiple it's a multiple visa valid for 2 years. I'm assuming that, no, the 2 years nga. So that would mean labas siya, and then the 6 months, if you like, is reset. Yeah, but you just have to be careful there because it could be that they say, well, hang on. That's actually you're trying to get back to the UK via the back door, not to just prolong your visit visa. So you have to be careful. But anyway, so if it's valid for 2 years, 6 months at 6 months per entry, no more than that. Sure, that's a possibility, but be careful. Could be you find some resistance, no, when you come back in. Now, second question is, can she switch the visit visa to a spouse visa? No, is the quick answer. There are very, very rare circumstances when that can happen, and there you need to be able to show exceptional circumstances, essentially, people dying or about to die. But even then, it's actually not. Even then, it's complex, no. So switching from a visit visa to a spouse visa is generally a no-no. Okay? So good luck. I hope. I hope they're okay. Now, let me just see if I have other questions. I'm sure I have some. Let me just have a look. Now, okay. This also a visit visa question. No, so I just want to ask if there's still a high chance, okay, of approval for a second UK visit visa. My first visa was approved, and I already used it to travel to the UK last year. I just don't know exactly when last year, beginning of the year or end of the year. No, I'm still working at the same company as when I applied for my first visa, with the same salary, and my bank closing balance is even higher now. I'm just getting a bit nervous, thinking I might get rejected this time. Now, various things may lead to a refusal. The main thing, if it's the second application nga, is actually in relation to both applications, is intention, no, genuineness of intention. So sabihin natin, when you say last year, no, Christmas time, nandito ka. Tapos umalis ka na, kababalik mo nga lang sa atin, sabihin natin January, no? Or even later nga. And then you make another application so quickly. Now, kung ako home office, ang una kong titignan, well, how come? No? Also, may trabaho ka. So if you used up the whole of the 6 months, and then you go back to the Philippines and you're looking to come back into the UK, then baka magduda sila. They may say, well, hang on, what's going on with this job? Do you still have the job? Because if you're away from your job 6 months in any given 12-month period, then it could be that you lose it. No? It may not be genuine. So that may raise nga issues. So ang payo ko, explain it. Look, the home office are people too, no? Usually. No, I guess. But they're people too. They will look at your case. And if you explain succinctly, clearly, no, the situation, hopefully they will simply grant it. The fact that it's a second visa application, so explain that. You can say, okay, you entered you applied last year for a visit visa, you used that, you went back in time, you're looking to come back again. Sabihin nyo, anong rason? No? Maybe it's for the summer, for example, or indeed for Christmas. It could be meron kayong kamag-anak nga dito, o kaya kaibigan, o kaya partner nga. So that you want to be with them for the Christmas period. No? Perfectly plausible and logical reason nga. So say that. No? Explain na yung nga ang sitwasyon. And you may need to also explain a little bit more, what's the situation with your job if you've been absent for a long time. Now, if you were away from the Philippines from your job 1 month, tapos bumalik nga, say that. Yeah? Say that you were able to take a holiday last year for 1 month. You returned, and now this your holiday again. No? Explain it to them. It's for you, of course. Your application is for you to explain the situation. Okay. Good luck. Yeah? Do tell me. Yeah. Hope. I mean, of course, I'm more than happy to discuss nga, my points. But it's truly a bit like reading a book but not knowing how it ends. Yeah. So, kung pwede, sabihin niyo sa akin, ano bang nangyari? No? Anong nangyari? Now, I'm not sure whether I have some more questions. Let me just have a look here. This one question I can't flash, so let me just read it to you. So, sabi niya dito, my boyfriend and I are planning to apply for a fiancé visa, no, sabi niya. However, he mentioned that he may qualify for fee waiver for the financial salary requirement, okay, because he receives monthly support from the government. I just wanted to ask if the fee waiver also covers the visa application fee that needs to be paid upfront, or if we would still need to pay that separately. I like this question because it actually deals with two very separate issues that are often confused. Yeah. So the two issues are these: what's called the minimum income requirement, okay, which presently for spouse applications is £29,000 when you're applying for entry clearance visa, or indeed, leave to remain in the United Kingdom. But someone is receiving certain benefits, and the actual fee waiver. So sabi niya nga dito, so it's the fee waiver nga, no? So let's deal with both. So unang sabi mo dito, you're looking to apply for fiancé visa. So sabi niya, sabi ng boyfriend mo, partner mo nga, he may qualify for fee waiver for the financial or salary requirement. But I think it's confusing to say fee waiver, right? I think you probably mean the minimum income requirement. So waiver from the minimum income requirement. But I'll also deal with the fee waiver shortly. The minimum income requirement, as I've said, is £29,000 per annum, okay, usually, unless you are receiving, or your partner is receiving, certain benefits, mainly to do with injuries. And there are 14 presently on the list. No, if he's in receipt of any of these benefits, then he does not need to meet the minimum income requirement. But beware, he will still, or you will still be assessed about your ability to support yourself in the UK without recourse to public funds for you. Okay, so just because he's receiving certain benefits does not mean that you will be getting benefits, and certainly does not mean that you're exempt from being assessed on the issue of financial ability to support yourself in the UK. So let me just read to you the 14 benefits, if you like. So disability living allowance, Scottish adult disability living allowance, severe disablement allowance, industrial injuries disablement allowance, attendance allowance, pension age disability payment, cares allowance, career support payment, personal independent payment, armed forces independent payment or guaranteed income payment under the Armed Forces Compensation Scheme, constant attendance allowance, mobility supplement or war disablement pension under the War Pension Scheme, police injury pension, child disability payment, adult disability payment. So the issue that permeates throughout all of those benefits is injury. Okay. If your partner is getting getting universal credit, so not any of those, then he would not be exempt, if you like, from needing to show the minimum income requirement, which presently is £29,000. If he's getting universal credit, then that's a problem. It's likely you'll face a refusal because they will say you're not able to support yourselves in the UK, the public funds. But going back, no, yung sabi ko nga kanina, you still need to show, pakita nga that you and your family, your partner here, will have enough money to house and support yourselves without relying on additional public funds, because you would not be entitled to additional monies here. So sabihin natin sa kanya to, no, you can't be, you must be able to show that you coming to the UK does not mean that you're going to be reliant on additional public funds, because that's a no-no, because sasabihin nila, no, he's entitled or she's entitled, but not you. Okay? Now, separately from that is this thing called actually fee waiver. No? Now, completely separate from the minimum income requirement. Fee waiver, not all applicants will qualify. So, for example, visit visa, not qualified nga for fee waiver. But say in your case nga, you're looking to potentially apply, coming to the UK to join your partner as who's living in the United Kingdom, who probably has settled status nga in the UK, British nga, then you will need to show, in order to have this fee waiver, that you can't afford to pay for the fees, which at the moment is quite high. So as a fiance, you don't need to pay IHS, the immigration health surcharge, but as a spouse, you would 2.5 years worth. But in any event, fiance application, of course, generates a fee, no, payment nga to the Home Office. So to succeed with that, kailangan niyang pakita nga that he really can't afford it. Now, if he does do that, then that begs the question of, well, can he support you in the UK with his, one of these benefits nga? So that I would be very careful applying for fee waiver, even though on the face of it, you would be entitled to apply for fee waiver. Pero iba po yon, yung fee waiver. That's to do, fee waiver, the terminology of fee waiver is really to do with the payment to the Home Office and the immigration health surcharge. What you are looking at is whether or not he's exempt from satisfying the minimum income requirement. Iba po yun. That's the £29,000. Good luck. I hope that goes well. Now, I'm not sure whether I have any more questions, but I do have, I know, some greeters, and I have problems with my technical glitch has continued. So I'm gagawin ko. Let me see if I can look at my at our greeters, at our viewers, no, on my phone. So sandali ha. Let me just have a look if I can. So um, outcast. Sabi niya. I'm looking down because I'm having to look at my phone nga, no? Sabi niya dito, outcast. Great topic. Salamat po. We try to please, no? Egay, the great guy from London. Sabi niya, a hot, you said it. Thursday to Attorney Lira and to the viewers, half-term break in school. Kaya we visited the sanctuary in Lourdes, in France. This man is well-traveled, no? Daming kabayan. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, no, we like visiting Lourdes, no? Because of course we are strongly Catholic country. No? Well, I hope you had a good time. Was it hot in France? It's so hot here. Okay. Now, sabi, David Calixto II, sabi, magandang gabi po, Attorney Lira. Magandang gabi. Magandang anong oras sa atin ngayon? Umagang-umaga, no? Umagang-umaga. Now, so, kamusta po? Oh, Lilibeth Francisco. Hello, Miss Francisco. Hi, Attorney Lira. Sabi niya, are you enjoying anong tawag dito? The Pinas feels heat. Oh, you are so right. Actually, I saw a client nga kahapon, Pinay siya. Sabi niya sa akin, parang Pilipinas, no? She's right, actually. Pinasi, tama ka. Oh, Miss Paner, Mariam Galicia Paner. Sabi, hello po, Attorney Lira. Sabi, at sa lahat, happy Thursday po. Magandang gabi po. Magandang gabi, Miss Paner. I hope you're well, no? And enjoying the summer. Summer is definitely here, no? Definitely. Miss Jones, Marilyn Jones, the great dancer, Miss Jones. A sweaty, oh, you're so right, madam. A sweaty Thursday evening, Attorney Lira, and everyone watching. Another interesting topic and learning to us all. Salamat, madam. Salamat. It's yeah, no, absolutely. It's it really is. It's so hot, no? But I'm not complaining. So now, and then we have other. So let me just see. Oh, Julie Alvarado. Hi, Attorney. Sabi niya, I'm naturalized British citizen and I have my son, 11 years old, with me in the UK. When can he apply for British citizenship? Sorry, sandali lang. The answer, sorry, now I've lost my train there. So sabi niya, when can he apply for British citizenship? So he was not born in the UK, right? I assume. So it could be, depending on, of course, how long he's also been in the UK, he can apply potentially for registration. No, now that you're naturalized British, registration means that as soon as he's registered, he's British. Yon. Now let me have a look. So it could be now is the quick answer. Now let me just have a look. Miss Nadella. Hello, sabi niya. Hello, madam. Are you enjoying the summer? Ang init, no? Ang problema nga din, I don't know if you have this, I get, bukas ang bintana ko. I'm not very keen on a fan going, through the night nga. Ang daming lamok. So marami akong kagat nga dito, no? Ang daming lamok. Anyway, so sabi niya dito, oh, Miss Paner, I'm watching po from UAE. Wow! Sobrang init sa parang Pinas. Miss Paner, I tell you what, I will not complain anymore about the heat. Because she's watching from the UAE. My gosh, that is even hotter. Oh, even hotter. So salamat po. Look, my apologies for not being able to, you flash the greets, online nga. But I hope I've gone through all nga. So it's and I hope I haven't missed anyone. So my apologies for the technical glitch nga. Look, it's been a pleasure. Always is. Salamat po for joining me. It's always not just interesting, it's getting exciting, because I do like our topic. So I say again, kung meron kayong mga questions you want me to deal with, email us, hopefully by no later than Wednesday, and then we'll try and deal with it, of course. And you never know, no? You may have some serious bragging rights by being chosen as the star question, and therefore your question gets unpacked even more so. No? But otherwise, it just leads me really to say salamat po ulit for joining me. And my apologies again for the glitches, my technical glitch nga. It's the heat. I blame the heat, no? At salamat din po to all the Facebook, the Facebook groups for allowing us to post our contents on their pages nga. Again, thank you very much, and thank you for sharing our content nga to family and friends. Please do, no? Hopefully it helps them. And please tell me what happens. What happened to your case? Because I really am interested nga. Otherwise, it just leaves me really to say salamat po. It's always a pleasure to be with you. I hope you'll be able to join me again next week for our next installment of LIRA in Law. Same time, same place. Good night.